Welcome to Women's Rugby Rundown 207 for June 23rd through the 29th. Trinidad and Tobago edged Mexico in a thriller, but Mexico still walked away with their first RAN 15s title since 2019. This result helped Trinidad and Tobago jump 4 spots on the World Rugby Rankings, while Mexico dropped by 2. And in other action, Australia A impressed with a win over Samoa. Ilona Maher earned her first ESPYs nomination. A remarkable third women's documentary has been announced, No Tears on the Field, and it features Vicky Dombroski of New Zealand. The Denver Onyx wrapped the first season of women's elite rugby with a statement win over the New York Exiles in the inaugural WER Legacy Cup. Rugby World Cup prep continues with 11 national teams in action this weekend and in the coming weeks. Great Britain secured the overall European Sevens Championship title despite a strong final leg push from Poland, and the LIT Super Series Elite heads to its final stop with the title still on the line this weekend. That's it for the week, and we'll round up all the global premier and club competitions worldwide. I'm Wendy, here to bring you the latest in women's rugby news. This is your Women's Rugby Rundown, and we're about to kick off. We'll start with 15s news first. In the RAN 15s interregional tournament, Trinidad and Tobago beat Mexico for the first time ever. They did it by a slim 2 points, winning 18-16. You can see how tight the standings table is with Mexico 6 points. They win the title. Congratulations to them. Jamaica 5 points, and the Trinidad and Tobago, their historic win over Mexico, getting them 4 points, really showing how competitive this region is and how much rugby is growing in the area. After upsetting Mexico in the RAN 15s tournament, Trinidad and Tobago jumped 4 points. We believe this is their highest ranking ever at 30, and then a couple of other teams have shifted down and up as a result of some other changes, but Mexico dropping 2 to 27th. Manu'a Malika led the way with a first half double as Australia A ran in 8 tries to defeat Samoa 50-22. There were standout performances from Piper Duck, Arabella McKenzie, Tia Hines, and the teenage spark Wairia Ellis, boosting their World Cup hopes. Ilona Maher earned her first ESPY nomination alongside standout women like Coco Gauff, Simone Biles, Asia Wilson, and Caitlin Clark. Fan voting is open ahead of the July 16th ceremony. In just a few weeks, we have learned about 2 documentaries about women's rugby, The Founding Four, which follows the journey of the 1991 Rugby World Cup, and then Ilona Maher will have a documentary documenting her journey to try to make the USA Rugby World Cup squad. And now a third. This one, Vicky Dombroski, the first and only woman to head coach the Black Ferns, reflects on a lifetime of dedication to women's rugby and calls for more women to step into top roles, as her story features in the new documentary, No Tears on the Field. The Welsh Rugby Union has postponed the proposed revamp of top-tier women's rugby in Wales that was due to be in place for 2025-26. The restructure would have replaced Buthen Thunder and Gwalia Lightning with 2 new teams aligned with men's regions and universities. Cymru Women's Sports expressed disappointment, calling the move another example of women's rugby being deprioritized in favor of the men's game, and warning that this could slow growth and commercial viability. Rugby World Cup prep continues to roll on. We will see a ton of matches in July, starting with this weekend, July 5th, South Africa, Canada. And then, of course, we talked about the LIT Sevens is coming, the final stop for that. But then it's just on and on and on as teams continue their prep ahead of the 2025 Rugby World Cup later this year. Let's do Sevens news now. Poland took the final stop of the European Sevens Championship, but Great Britain secured the overall title with their earlier wins, while Poland finished second and France took third. South Africa's most capped women's sevens player, Mathurin Simmers, has officially retired after a remarkable 13-year career. It includes 3 World Cups, 2 Commonwealth Games, and the Paris Olympics, and there were several wonderful tributes highlighting her leadership, longevity, and impact on the growth of the women's game. The final stop of LIT Super 7 Series Elite is coming up this weekend at Bury St Edmunds Sevens, with Shogun leading the standings, but closely chased by Hong Kong Dragons, Vaquita Hammerheads, and the Lillian Amazons, who won the most recent stop. Now we'll move over to Premier and Club news. The Denver Onyx closed out the inaugural season of professional women's rugby in the United States with a commanding 53-13 win over the New York Exiles, claiming the first ever WER Legacy Cup title and cementing their place in history as the league's first ever champion. Ireland confirmed the 2025-26 Women's Energeria All-Ireland, the AIL, league season plan with 18 rounds, 2 breaks, and a final set for April 26th at Aviva Stadium as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen the women's domestic game in Ireland. That's it for the video this week. As always, there's more news on our site at yscrugby.com. And never miss an episode of Women's Rugby Rundown by subscribing on Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, or any of your social media platforms.